What's up, everyone? Thanks once again for tuning in to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the Underground King, better known as Kingpin. This figure was made by Toys Battalion. I don't think I've ever heard of Toys Battalion. I'm not 100% sure if they've made some other things in the past that I've collected. But nevertheless, I do recognize just the size of the box, so I'm already knowing just how big this figure is. I've seen a couple of things online, people already talking previews about this thing, and so I was already kind of expecting him to be big, but we'll address that later on. So for now, we'll take a look at the box itself, which you can kind of see there's a little bit of a kind of a silhouette of Kingpin. Almost looks like, actually looks pretty cool. It's almost like this is the suit. So you got the guy, and then this area here would most likely be like the tie or whatnot. And Underground King, you got the bottom. It's kind of got this gold text to it. It actually looks pretty cool. Pretty nice print on the box. And then we have the city skyline here, and you know, all your wording and whatnot. And there's Toys Battalion on the top there, and then same for the other side. There's really nothing going on the top because this is just a sleeve. So I'll go ahead for now and just slide this off so we can get this out of the way. And then we have the cover here, which I'm going to lean back because I don't want this guy falling out. So let's see, and this is the figure right here. As you can see, he's a pretty big guy. For those of you who own it, I believe this is the same body that is used for the Juggernaut figure that was made by Toys Era for both the movie version and the comic version, which the comic version is the one I picked up. But when you make a body like this, it's like you got to find some kind of excuse to use that body again. Otherwise, it's just made for that one figure and you really can't do anything else with it. So most likely we are going to probably see some other figures later down the line using this same body. But again, as you can see, I'll go ahead and get them out. You can get a closer look. I will tell you right now that I do like that face. That is a good sculpt for the face. Very similar to the Kingpin that was in the Spider-Man video game, which that's the thing that kind of, I don't know, kind of confuses me a bit, because they use the sculpt to you know, look like he did in the game, but this is definitely not the size. He was definitely much smaller, which you'll see when I do the comparison. You'll see that he was definitely a smaller guy. So I mean, either way, I do like the sculpt. But actually, you know what, let me give you a closer look at these shoes as well. You got some nice shine on those shoes, so that's pretty good. And the suit is actually tailored pretty good as well. I noticed that they only did like the front button there because, I mean, I don't know, that seems kind of tight, like you can't do it. I will try it to get all the buttons in. I mean, it does look like it is possible, but it almost seemed like they didn't want to chance it, like, we're not going to break this thing, but if you do it, it's on you. So we'll take a look at that as far as getting all the buttons. I believe from the looks of it, the coat should be removable as well, so we should be able to do something with that. But the tailoring itself for the suit, I think is done a really good job. But what I was going to say was the head sculpt is good as far as, you know, being accurate to the game. It's just because of the size of the body, it's not. That's where it differs from the game. I'm not complaining too much about it because as big as he is in the comics, you know, his size did vary depending upon who the artist was for that comic. So sometimes he was drawn huge. As a matter of fact, even in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie, he's huge in that one, and literally Miles is like this little guy. So that is some accuracy to it. So I'm not too you know, bummed about the size of the figure. I think it's okay. But I just think that if they're going to do something like this, having the face, fine. But as far as the size, I think they probably should have gone with more of the comic look. Terry had the black slacks, he had the white jacket, and the purple vest, rather than trying to copy the suit from the game. I believe just the head alone is what caused them to just do the rest. But either way, I think it's really cool. They did give some extra things. So in addition to the open hands, you have the fist as well, which there's some good detail on that too. I think they're done really good. The skin tone is good as far as it'll match the figure itself. So I think there was a good job done on that. And the other two, only two other two accessories that he comes with is he comes with two canes. I believe one cane is similar to the game, and the other one is like similar to like the comic. But they're both really good, really good sculpts. So you can see it's almost like a gold thing where he has like a cobra snake that's used for the first cane. You can see all the scales that are designed into the cane itself, and the head and everything looks really well done, really well sculpted. So you have that. I think the detail in that is really good, all the way to the scale of everything. Doesn't really look washed out. And so you have that one, and then the other cane that he comes with is the skull cane, which I think I really like this one as well. This is really good. You got the spine, and then you have the teeth, designing the skull of the teeth, and it's kind of hollow in there in the center there. It's almost like a silver paint that's done to it. So you got a silver cane and you got a gold cane. But overall, I think the detail in it looks really good. So yeah, but that's pretty much all you get as far as the figure and accessories and everything else. So what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and get a couple of figures out so we can do some comparisons with some other guys, and we'll see how he measures up with everyone else. Let's check that out. Okay, so first off, here we have the comparison between Kingpin and Juggernaut. Again, I believe these were the same bodies that were used. Just, you know, the sculpting on the arms was different. Obviously, Juggernaut had some extra things added to the arms, so the arms look slightly bigger than what was done on Kingpin. But from looking at it, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like Kingpin is actually slightly taller than the Juggernaut. You know what? Actually, let me see. So if we do that, it actually looks like, yeah, he's like slightly taller, which we all know that is not accurate when it comes to the two. Definitely Juggernaut is a bigger guy than Kingpin. So for the sake of, you know, trying to get a height comparison and think that these will be the same size, like I said, I'm going into it, I already knew that the body was the same, so I was kind of expecting it to be big. But I mean, it could just be his posture, you know, just as far as, and also the sculpting of the head. Maybe they made the head smaller to fit the helmet. So maybe that is a difference there. I will say, lifting the two, Juggernaut actually feels heavier than the Kingpin. So it's just when it comes to the height, he looks a little, Kingpin looks bigger than Juggernaut. I mean, for the sake of when I do my photography, when I do my photos and things like that, especially for somebody like Spider-Man, they always kind of portray it like villains like these guys are bigger than him. It's almost like you're constantly, when it comes to Spider-Man, it's like you're always rooting for the little guy, which Spider-Man is supposed to be like the little guy, in comparison to all of these huge villains that are larger than life and bigger than he is. And so that's kind of like how they portray it. So I think it would be okay. But like trying to get these two guys in a picture together, I just don't think that would work at all. But besides that, let's go ahead and get a couple other figures out here and see how he stacks up in comparison to them. Okay, and here we have two more guys that you can see are also pretty big when it comes to Hot Toys collections and whatnot. Here we have the Infinity War Thanos and the Avengers Hulk, which you can already see again when it comes to, just I would say when it comes to your collection. When it comes to your collection, if you got these guys and you got a Kingpin there, yeah, I mean if you like having this stuff like that, he's obviously out of scale when it comes to the two, because the Hulk would, in just my opinion, the Hulk would be bigger than Kingpin, and Thanos would be bigger than Kingpin. Really, again, it depends upon the artist or whatnot. So this is just to give you an idea as far as if you were to have this guy in your collection and you had these two guys in there, it just it kind of would look out of place. At least to me, it really would look out of place. To having somebody as big as the Hulk, and then the moment you put him next to Kingpin, of all people, who's supposed to be just like a regular guy, not really a superhero, but he is a muscular guy. Still, he's only made bigger in the size of, you know, when he's going up against Spider-Man, when they try to make him seem like larger than life. But in your collection, if you had these two guys, this would kind of look like in comparison to your other two. But the most important person, let's go ahead and get him out here and see how he stacks up to Kingpin. Okay, and lastly, as you can see, this is the Hot Toys Spider-Man compared to this giant Kingpin. So, again, like I said, when it comes to the comic books, sometimes Kingpin is drawn to be a very large guy. Let me say for those of you who have watched the I believe it's the Daredevil series where they had the Kingpin figure there, and I believe someone did release a Kingpin figure based off of that TV show. You know, that's just as a regular guy. You know, it's not going to be a comic version, so he's not going to be huge. But again, if you remember Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Kingpin was a huge guy, so that's one of the areas where you'll see him different in size. So when you have someone, you know, like Spider-Man in a comic, this is the kind of thing that you will see. As a matter of fact, just to show you a comparison here so you can see what it is I'm talking about, this is just really just all about perspective. So if I was to bring the camera down here, then you can see it's not really, you know, too big of a deal because I'm looking up at Spider-Man, and so therefore it's not too big of a gap when it comes to the size. And this is what I'll be taking advantage of when it comes to taking photos, because like I said, it's just really just about the size. So therefore Kingpin looks big, but also Spider-Man looks like he's a pretty big size as well. So it's just really all about perspective. So again, you got those guys there, and then when I bring it back to right here so you can be able to just see everything, then he automatically, you know, getting back into look like Spider-Man is just this tiny little person. So there's ways you can make it work, and ways I'm going to make it work when it comes to my photos. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have as far as Kingpin is concerned. Let's jump straight into some photos and see what exactly I'm speaking of, and see how he measures up. I will say during the time that I do or I have had him out of the box, when it comes to articulation, the suit is pretty tight. I'm able to get a little bit of range of motion, but you can see that's pretty much how far he moves the arm, only because that's just the restriction of the suit. The suit just kind of limits his movements. But I believe if you were able to, you know, if you wanted to take the suit off, then you still have the restrictions of the shirt, but that's, you know, one of the issues you have to deal with. There's also a little bit of padding that I can feel underneath here that you'll probably have to work around as well. I am going to try and work with those buttons to see if I can get something, because you could possibly, if you wanted to, have something just, you know, to hold the suit underneath. As you can see, it does come close to where you can touch it. So if you wanted to, you can close it up Like I can get it all the way over there. You do have to work a little bit, but you can get it all the way over there, and actually kind of overlap a little bit, so you can get the buttons in. It's just, I believe that what they did was they just kind of left it up to you to do that yourself rather than putting it on the buttons. So this one button is kind of showing that it is possible, and you just got to work with it a little bit, but it can be done. But overall, yeah, I think he's a good figure, and I do like him, and I did actually want a Kingpin anyway. And I personally did not want the Kingpin from the show. I wanted the Kingpin from a comic. So this is definitely something that I'm going to keep, and I'm satisfied with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's jump straight into some photos, and let's see how he turns out.